Hi everybody, I'm Jason Bear, and this here is Vlad, our Karelian bear dog, and he volunteered to help us give a little demonstration on some healthcare stuff. Now, the last video that we did was on wrist care. The same rule applies. This one will be on shoulder care. The same rule applies, as a rule of thumb, is that say you're in a racing scenario, most of this applies to racing. You can apply it to your training, but keep in mind that what we're really doing is trying to describe a racing scenario. You're out on a run in a race and you're coming to a checkpoint. Now if you have your team looks smooth, that's great. Then when you get into the checkpoint, you got them bedded down on straw and you're going through your healthcare protocol, most of what we're going to be talking about in terms of maintenance really applies to that scenario. But if you pull into a checkpoint in the last couple miles coming in there, you've got a dog that starts to break down and it's limping. And it doesn't matter what that's for. It could be a back injury, it could be a neck injury, shoulder, ankle. If the dog comes limping into a checkpoint, 99 out of 100 of them are going to get dropped right there. You care for them, but then you get them out of your team. So we're not talking about how to get a dog that's injured further into the race. We're talking about a dog that's stiff and that's sore and that you're trying to keep it from becoming an injury. So with that, what I do is I come into a checkpoint, I take care of my dogs by strawing them down, feeding, I start going through, looking at feet. The vets we're usually in races where there's a lot of vet protocol. They're in your team as well, and they're helping kind of find problems. And say you come across a shoulder. One of the things that I like to do is keep in mind that say you have a tricep injury, you're not just working on the tricep. You got a dog it's at night, it's cold, they're laying on straw, you're a couple days into a race, they're not all frisky like this. You got this little stiff ball and it's all curled up and just like miserable on their straw, let's say, if they've got some pain somewhere. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to make them comfortable. That's really the first thing with any injury. So with the shoulder, what I'm trying to do, say it's a right tricep, you know that's kind of where it's stiff. I'm working the whole leg. I get in here and I work all the way down to the toes. I get in here and of course they're usually laying down and you're crouched down with them. I'm massaging. Then once I've identified, got the whole shoulder and the whole front end kind of nice and loose, it might take 5 minutes to do that, I break out my liniment. And I use the Mountain Ridge Herbal Remedies liniment. This is a 12.5% emu oil. It's got a lot of good essential oils and stuff in there. This is the best one that I found. I like it because it also works really well for my hands. So what I do is I start working in liberal doses of this stuff. Come here, buddy. I get this in there. I might use as much as 3 or 4 tablespoons. And then what I do is I get in there and say it's that tricep. I really work it all over. Get in there and work on that. I'll work on as much as 10 minutes. Then, this is a real key here, so don't be afraid to use your liniment. I mean, it's not expensive. It only costs like 14 or 15 bucks for 8 ounces. Plan on, having 10 bottles of it. I mean, it's more than worth it. Don't be stingy. Then, they make these, you have these wonderful little shoulder vests. Essentially, it's kind of a neoprene sort of deal. They have these little pockets on the inside that you can put hand warmers into. So once you've got your liniment on there and you've given it your massage therapy, you get this shoulder vest on them. Usually, look, if your dog's got the energy to try to get away from you like this one is, good boy. I know you don't have an injury. Okay, so now what you got is this is a warming vest. I don't like to run them in these. They're pretty tight fitting. A pocket on the inside and the front and on each shoulder. Then I put the hand warmers in there. 1 hand warmer in each. Then I'll put an actual jacket over the dog. I put my jacket over the dog and then blanket it down. You want to create as much heat in there as you possibly can. Get it nice and toasty. Then, again, same as with the wrist, about 90 minutes before go time, you get all this stuff off, you get the dog up, you move it around, try to get some food and water into it, and reassess. Get in there and start working on this stuff again. And that's the protocol. So, hope that helps, everybody. And remember, don't be stingy with this stuff. Get 10 bottles of it and use it through the winter. I mean, 3 or 4 tablespoons per application, it pays for itself. Okay, you guys, I hope this helped. Have a nice week.